Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. So we can start our work. First of all, I wanted to mention that today, on this platform and network, we would continue the work which we have started at 12 o'clock. That's why we're very grateful that today we have the SME Corporation here. We can also join our colleagues online. So hopefully we will hear them too. So I think that it's better to start our work. And the main goal is that today we have the understanding that the support which is provided on the line of corporations and also regional measures of support, business need all these nuances. Life is dynamic, the infrastructure is changing, it transforms every day. The changes what we have on the geopolitical level motivate us to change some mechanisms of support and also our attitude towards business. It is also essential, even talking about Bashkortostan, we have more than 133,000 subjects of entrepreneurship, and of course, they are spread quite diverse. And still, we conduct good work together with corporations, also agencies which implement their programs on state support, also microfinancing loans and leasing organizations. Of course, I want somehow to share which other opportunities do we have, because here together we have our partners. For example, Han, you are here as you are already working on the territory of Russia. Maybe you know some support measures from the side which is implemented in India, or maybe which we can share with your country too. So it's an open discussion. Andrei Evgenievich, I'd like to give the floor to you. Thank you very much for invitation. Frankly speaking, such meetings are conducted with regional teams just because we have a goal to cooperate with all subjects, with all regions what we have. Now we hope that we will cover it up, and more than 90% of regions would also be connected to us. Sometimes we meet during some events like International Business Week, or even we can conduct some meetings. But my goal, my objective towards this meeting is to bring you my contacts. I have some interesting special slides, and also in different, we will provide you the contacts of specialists in different fields of entrepreneurship. And of course, I would like to touch the topic, which successful practices do we have and what is quite complicated for us. Maybe we need to pay attention to. I'm convinced that our effective dialogue will be quite valuable for most of the entrepreneurs, because that's our goal. We already have partnerships, but maybe we can strengthen some of them. I want just to present you some of the essential programs that we have already launched. Here you can see the first is banking loans. How can we influence on the entrepreneurs if they take some discount loans or preferential lending, and how can we influence on it? I will explain the reasons. One sec, I need to change the slide. I understand. Is it me who changes? So the program of preferential lending. Right now, you can see that the stake is quite high. But all in all, the numbers are quite interesting. For example, if we talk about Russia, 500 on Russia, and also as for Republic of Bashkortostan, 117. So comparing the numbers, you can also pay attention to this statistics. It's about the regions. What about the amount of lending in accordance to the region people are working in? Of course, there are some of the regions where we have quite similar numbers. For example, Bashkortostan, Tatarstan. We can also compare them. Samara region. But if we'll take into consideration the volume of preferential loans, you can see 17 billion. It's even twice bigger per region. How can we influence on it? How the infrastructure is influenced by the lending that we have? For one reason, of course, it's impossible to influence somehow because you cannot make people take some preferential lendings. So as you can see here, there is a preferential discount for 2 years. We have heard such suggestions from entrepreneurs because they want to have some special discounts for the whole period. For example, if we talk about BSK, so you can see that there could be 3, discount for 3. Then it rises, and for the rest 5 years, it's quite the same. As I believe, just because it was also my goal, to make people get acquainted with such opportunities, just because a lot of people just come to the bank and they cannot learn about all the opportunities of stimulation they could reach. They can come and learn the structure, they can work with the corporations, they could come to the bank. So the statistics, it doesn't change that much. And of course, if we talk about umbrella mechanisms, the result here is 7 billion in the Republic of Bashkortostan. You can also see that we have a quite good volume of financial support. See that some people believe that this umbrella system doesn't work in some of the regions, but according to the statistics right now, it has stimulated some regional organizations. Without that, we usually hear something about the competition, but the competition, which competition could be here? So you can see the increase in comparison 2022. For 7 months, we have noticed the increase. So we had a rise 3.4 billion rubles. And of course, we also get some money, some cash, which was introduced to some of the projects. And of course, we had the measures of support from the government, which was provided for some of the enterprises. We'll see if the next year would have different numbers, just because there would be no such a demand from business to get it. That's why we want to learn a bit more about additional reserves which would be provided. I don't know if you really have it. Do you have the capitalization here? Only for, yes, some expenditures on payments. I know it's not that much, mostly 36 million per year. Haven't you thought if there would be a decision made? The translator cannot hear the speaker. Would the banks change their attitude towards the loans? So we plan in January to sum up all the loan institutions and work out with them all together. If we talk about the structures of the banks, of course, among all the structures who provide the preferential lending, we have Sberbank. So the bulk of it, the majority of the preferential lending. Of course, we also understand that we have this kind of umbrellas, some funds which are working right now. So we work on the product. If some of the people could also join our umbrella for dispersion of the money. What are these categories of the entrepreneurs? So your umbrella covers up 50%. Maybe we will provide different variants. For example, we have a joint product all in all, 50 corporations is also involved and maybe 25 regions involved into it. So it would be preferential for those who constitute the bulk of it. Maybe 25, according to the load of the capital. We need to stay in contact and also communicate about this a bit later. So in the automatized system, you will see the registers. So there you can see your part of money which was involved into the project. Right now it's currently 1.8. Yes, so we can also make a decision within these numbers. Of course, we need a discussion with Ministry of Economical Development if we need to find out the most profitable opportunities and variants. To know if it would be more comfortable for banks to understand the umbrella system and provide the support. We are thoroughly working in the sphere of lending. Not long ago, we have conducted some test application, so the people are ready to work. But the question is, some of the funds, giant funds like Moscow, Yekaterinburg, they have already started, signed the agreements with banks, not even banks, maybe Sberbank. And they also provide the competence, they are competent to the umbrella. So they have taken the same model and follow it up. There are some differences. For example, when they get it on SME corporation, they can conduct it without the agreement. So, but when you're working with banks, you need to sign the agreement. It would make it simple to work in the sphere of surety in SME. We are also discussing this topic. We haven't got some solution right now, so we're working out. We understand the idea, and of course I wanted to mention that. What about the service? Have you already tried it? We mostly work with banks, and I could say with this service we'll also make some consultancies. We help to choose the bank. Sometimes in the sphere of preferential lending, we can give them advice which banks could provide such loans, but in fact, we also target them forward. I'm talking about if we have some targeted work. example, from 5 to 50. We also have such SME service up to 50. Now, of course, we also define different variants with guarantees, assurances, with banks. Maybe here we need to think it over. Maybe those who enter with investor from 5 to 50 with pick one, you can do it manually. You can conduct it manually. Maybe you need to make a step back and to unify two systems into one. It could also be quite fruitful. The idea, of course, in any way, we need to try different services, and then it would be quite understandable where to move, if it would be popular or not, if it would be convenient for people. And also will provide us with more entrepreneurs included into this sphere. For example, if we talk about Irkutsk, this service takes the second place among all the regions. And here I think it's much more understandable. So communication is already supported, but we have no estimation. As I understand, you have some issues which you need to solve, but for this reason you need to share. But for you, you don't need to share. I just wanted to notify another thing. To get back to the if, when a year ago we had a question on definition of 50 billion, which really all together with our ministries and institutes of support, we searched for the entrepreneur who would be ready to launch this issue. And when we started to analyze it, we realized that business is not informed about the support it can gain. And when we started to learn the specifics of this support together with Opora Russia, so on, not everyone knew about such products. And due to that, here we have Liana Saitova. We have decided that the fund of entrepreneurship support should work in a different way. First of all, providing the right information. As we have created 6 blocks, right those time when we collect the people and present them the measures of support. And of course, they provide us the value. Right now we have only 10 billion among all the sums, but I could say that it increases because business gets the information. Today, this program, which we have started from A to Z, it has already started. Just because right now we see that business doesn't get the whole information, even though that they have some promotion issues what they conduct. Sometimes here on the land we need to explain everything. Here we have the business sheriffs, even they don't have the full understanding, the full data on support. And what do you do through the digital platform? It's also a good variant, it's a good opportunity. And of course here, sometimes such things which we are discussing right now, it's our internal kitchen, and for business we need to conduct it on land. And in most of the cases, we need to understand that the root is the way how business sheriffs are included into the work. In some regions, they even haven't got it. I know that not everyone even has such a name for this profession, but the question is that if you want to have it as a suggestion, we can collect our team and explain thoroughly some of the things which were there on the slides in detail. I supported business sheriffs are working with us every week just because we have meetings with them. Of course, we can also implement it via these meetings, and we can also choose another variant or another format. But it's the easiest way, which won't take long. Just the reason is that our goal is to explain, to clarify all the aspects of support, because if it would be clarified, it would be easier to get it. I can also have I also have some questions among umbrella side. We also had the same situation, but with the programs of preferential lending. Look at the statistics. 70 agreements, then we have Udmurtia region. You can see that they have even bigger numbers, like 1.877. I can also share it for you just to be informed. Also, another variant is lending stimulation program. We have LSP 1664, and here we have such fields as tourism, education, IT, science. If there is the invoice for loan for 15 million up to 2 billion, so it is better to get for 5 years. This program has a lot of perspectives. Of course, we haven't got that many entrepreneurships. As you can see, that up to 100 billion, you see the percentage 3 up to 4.5%. But all in all, it's 3 years what you'll have such a stake. After that, for 2 years, it would be lower, and if you need 5 more years, it would rise a bit. So that's the statistic what we have. Today, the regional support, we have a synergy effect. For example, Udmurtia right now gives an LSP program for all the fields. They have even chosen the banks they are working with, and they reduced it up to 8%. So for LSP, they gave 8% for each section, each sector that they have. They also give 9.5% for medium-sized enterprises. And then they have decided that it's not the microloan for some of the enterprises. They took our program of LSP and reduced some of them for the microloans for 11%. They made the term for 3 years. For example, the example of such structure is Udmurtia. You can see the whole presentation of the way how they work, the way how they operate. There are also some regions which are working on this program right now, even with the reduced stakes rates. If we talk about the amount of lending which we have, so the Republic of Bashkortostan can be comparable to most of the republics around Russia. So it's mostly about the top priority programs. Yes, a year ago, we also boosted up such a program, and right now we have an increase. So you see, the exact work which is conducted on site can give it fruitful results. That's why you need to circulate it, because it's all about investments. You have the clear goals. It's top priority fields, for example, tourism. Also, the Center of Support of Investment Lending is working and operating for everyone who is interested in some information on investments. You can see that a year ago we had 3 agreements, and this year 2 agreements. Today, I saw one of the men who is asking for the 3% loan. Just the reason is that this program is working and everyone is asking if there would be an increase. And yes, the latest news provided the information that not. Leasing is also about if your company provides 6 or 8%. So we have the overturn, we have money for it. And the second program is priority, where you have the rate 4.5%. We usually take the loans for the financing and then provide it for leasing at another rate, just because we take it from the bank, and bank is oriented on the key numbers. This program is less popular right now among the entrepreneurs just because of the rate of dollar, because it also influences on it. So we have such a program. Talking about leasing, we have this situation. You see, like for example, the Nizhny Novgorod region. All in all, as I know, 2 and 4 would be issued, and one more application is issued, and 3 are under concern. Just for your information, how leasing is conducted. The new markets of purchases you can see over here. So Natalia Nikolaeva Kurochenkova is involved into this question. So you need to look at the entrepreneurs in accordance with the offsets. Maybe you have some questions. There are contacts which you can take and then contact us to learn the details. 2 agreements are already on the signing, and we can find such companies, such entrepreneurs who would be involved into this program. We are ready to communicate with such enterprises and companies. So we are ready to provide them support and also supervise their programs. Even at the regional level, it would be fruitful both for the region and for the entrepreneur. So I have such a suggestion, just because we have an official claim for everyone. There are a lot of work conducted on this topic. So maybe our colleagues have some of the ways how we can provide support to the new entrepreneurs who enter the market.
The digital platform, yeah, of course. You are in integration, regional integration. Who is in charge of that? Like in terms of services that are shown? No. So are you in charge of that? The Agency of the Republic of Bashkortostan of Entrepreneurship and Leasing. So you are in charge of regional integration, right? So I would like to understand, maybe my colleague will assist me. I have a question that I would like to clarify. So just for clarification, digital platform where an entrepreneur sees all the services. So our task is to show everything that we have in our Republic of Bashkortostan, and so they can see all the services provided, some standard services like express consultation and so on. So the more the better, and it's better for everyone, for entrepreneur and for the rest. So our Moscow colleagues, Dmitry or Victoria, do you know them? Yeah, of course, we know them. We communicate with them quite closely. Yeah, our relationship are going quite well, and we are doing great. This digital platform is amazing, and we have a lot of great feedback. It's really convenient, and there are a lot of comfortable services. But we also have a suggestion, as this center, my business. We work with business quite closely, and we explain how it's important to work with this platform, but it's going on quite manually nowadays. So more entrepreneurs should know about these platforms. So the government claims, requests, fewer documents, and so on. So as a suggestion, can we organize some kind of integration with this tax services so they can get all the notification that such a digital platform exists and that it's so cool, and it will be great if everyone knew about that. That's a really good question. You know, well, honestly, if you take part in this activity, you know that in every region we have our headquarters, and yeah, you know, and your statistics and everything, the rate is quite well. So we see the amount of support which is provided by SME, for example. So that's kind of methodology, and you see the support from small and medium entrepreneurship. So if I'm waiting for Mr. Timur, for example, and he doesn't want to talk to me, my colleagues text me. They tell me something. Yeah, that he's already here. Yeah, we're here. We can hear you. Can you hear us? Yes. Great. So here is a space topic, and we're discussing a lot of great topics here. So, and you look like starting like a novice astronaut here. So, yeah, you look like that here on the screen. So can you please tell us? Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up, and then, yeah, you can talk. So we would like, as more and more entrepreneurs use this to use this platform, because there are a lot of useful services and support, so they can understand whether they need microfinancing or not, and the more correct our offers, the better and more understandable. So it's a two-sided coin. So on the one hand, we say that there should be more entrepreneurs, but on the other hand, if we do not attract them and we don't use any promotion tools, it will be quite difficult for each region, because there should be some authorization first to use the service. So people should be motivated, and we understand our task of popularizing this platform, because you shouldn't stay alone with these services, and your work is quite hard. So yeah, of course we understand that. So we're thinking about financing services, and like in Moscow, for example, there are some entrepreneurs who are in charge of providing some young mothers with some specific products. Yeah, that would be great if everyone could get that. So we agreed with Federal Tax Service that they would provide an envelope with all the information there, the registration document, as some package with a brand label. So, and if you have any of such ideas, please share. For example, in Samara region, they have some ideas and their own methodology of promoting all of that. So please share. Like some people ask me, shouldn't we support if someone comes to our consultation? Like if someone hasn't registered yet, shouldn't we provide any support? No, of course not. So, okay, well, let's talking about federal tax services. Can you please tell us, Timur, about the status of integrating services. Is there any plan of works that should be implemented? Like, what's your view? Can you hear me? Yeah, of course we can hear you. So great, thank you. Talking about integration, we have Artem who can talk about that and which services have already been integrated and which have not. So he's in charge of that plan of integration. And also we can talk about regional services. We analyzing everything. Currently, we have a standardized service for providing lending for an enterprise, but we see that it hasn't been implemented yet. So we're pointing out that your Ministry of Entrepreneurship and Tourism, so the user agreement hasn't been signed yet. So maybe that's the problem of introducing this service. Probably that's the reason why services are blocked. That's the reason because we've just undergone the procedure of unification. There was some reorganization. Yep, there were some technical issues. We can provide you some support. Technical support. We have a special chat, so please text us and we will help you. So there are two ways. Some regions are integrated and that's how services are got. But another way is to create a personal account on a website on the platform and then to get that. So maybe we should run some analysis, some audit, which measures should be taken to solve that problem. Maybe there are some services which don't have any high demand, so maybe we should discuss that. So let's hold a meeting. And another question is that sometimes someone has this service, pays for that, but there is no money on the account anymore. So, but this service is closed. So, if people don't have any money on their account, so there should be notification that the service cannot be provided. So I looked through this register, and there was like deny, deny, deny again. So, and the reason was that people didn't have money on their account. That wasn't client oriented. So, talking about integration, Artem, now we have consultations for government support and guarantee, and leasing as well. And leasing can also be discussed separately. So, of course, we have more services. Probably we don't aim to conduct about 150 consultations and have separate cards for each of them. But yeah, this whole mechanism can be used more actively as for the Republic of Bashkortostan, for example, to enroll, to register for some event. So there is some register that where can people enroll online or offline. So, but that depends on you, how much you're ready to provide, how much you're ready to do those steps. So can you talk about integration, service integration statistics? Like what I'm interested in is that the Bashkortostan, how many services do they provide through SME? And Tatarstan is a neighboring republic. So overall, this year, for example, Tatarstan provided 10,000 and Bashkortostan 257 services. So Tatarstan chose this promoting strategy. They pay a lot of attention to that. That's why they have this such great results. And Tatarstan is number one. So the great part of their services is educational events, and we can do that through registration. So there is a certain example of integration. Why shouldn't we turn 200 into 2,000? So let's think how we can achieve that and what we can do. So we've agreed to meet. We have 2 blocks of integration and personal account, and we can discuss these 2 issues. And I would also like to add that let's plan the date, let's schedule a date when you are ready to discuss these issues, and please add municipal officials as well, and we'll be able to see which services should be taken away or introduced. So there is like a huge amount of work. You can do only 10%, but do that with high quality. We already have this kind of issue. We've already discussed that, so we're going to plan our steps for the next year and which services we're going to provide through this digital platform. We can add there some educational services, educational topics. For example, we've got to understand that perfectly well, and that depends on the schedule of those events on the calendar. It should be really well structured and planned. And it's great because business can plan itself. It can understand where it should be at a particular time. It's not chaotic, because some events and their schedule can change, and then we should jump from one to another. But the reputation actually suffers from that when people register first, but then something changes. So there are some trainings in corporations or schools. They choose a particular date and schedule that. So maybe we should choose such events rather than some round tables, for example, as a service. Probably we'll be ready to share this experience on this knowledge on how this works in the Republic of Tatarstan, to see how it works and what we can adopt here in our republic. And talking about trainings, we still can't sign any agreement. Is there any technical issue or what? But we've already signed that with the fund. We've already signed one agreement, and we're about to write another one. So, and talking about that meeting, business meeting, probably we should do that straight away with business sheriffs. It will be more efficient. It's great that we discuss such issues, because, it's all about one topic that some people don't know business through and through, or when people should get this knowledge not from, a loudspeaker or something like that, but sitting at home cozily in the couch. So, do you have anything else to add here? About the date. We're not going to discuss the date at the moment, but we're going to settle this down very soon. So you will come to me throughout the week and tell me everything. And I would like to add that we started to realize this package plan for promotion and telling all the places about what we are doing here. So we have this interaction with different universities and so on to different regions. We go there and talk about our ideas and achievements. We are a business coaches with our colleagues. So thanks a lot for your program, because what we got in Moscow, that component is really easily applicable and really convenient and important. So such program as the alphabet of entrepreneurship will be focused more closely next year, and we'll start developing that. So we've already set some priorities and tasks. We also have some suggestions for educational purposes, talking about ambassadors of corporations, we can use their potential in regions as well. So I don't really know how well they are involved in your agenda nowadays, but they are surely the conductors of your conception and ideology in regions. So we should use such people who have already been trained and know the cooperation from inside, because lately we've seen that the cooperation has been changing, and there are some new tools which others should be aware of in places, in regions. So we've talked with our colleagues that there is such a tool for integration through financial tax service for self-employed people. When a person is registered as a self-employed, they see some kind of ring or bell, and when they click there, they see all the services, all the support that is provided. So, and if we had such thing through Federal Tax Service or something like that, where all the tools are already well tuned, that would be great, because it's a user-friendly platform, really easily to use. And the fact that a lot of platforms for entrepreneurs appear nowadays, that's extremely important, because there are some requests from entrepreneurs that they need a really simple platform, simple resource that unites all the services there. So if your corporation moving towards that direction, that might be a great step forward for entrepreneurship, because there will be motivation to visit your resources and use them, because we would like to understand that this great difference that we have only about 200 active procedures, steps that are taken, and in another republic it's about 10,000. So the difference is great. This gap is so huge. Maybe we don't know anything and we don't use all those perks that exist. So maybe Tatarstan is using this resource, so actually maybe they know something, they get something from corporations or something like that. Yeah, well, I don't know, it's just an example, but anyway, how do they motivate the entrepreneurs to take all of those steps? Because that's a huge procedure. How do they make them interested in what they do? So yeah, this meeting that we're going to have, yeah, we will have to kind of torture our colleagues to tell us about that, because when I met them in the past, and I visited them. Maybe I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I believe that they have some kind of tabloids or something like that with all of the information. Maybe I'm wrong, sorry. But when we went to Moscow or somewhere else, they even provided this kind of tabloids, billboards, on bus stops or something like that, and that was quite effective. So yeah, I realized that promoting product in Moscow, it's one thing, but promoting regional product, regional platform, somewhere, yeah, it's another one. So when you say your platform, I get a bit upset because, yeah, we're going to fine-tune this SME platform, but yeah, I would suggest that we call it our platform, not just your platform, right? And I wanted to show this infographics from regions, the slide which has been made by Mr. Kapolov, and this slide tells us that we have about 10% of entrepreneurs on our platform, that they entered that, 10% of those who use that. Right, and as you can see, yeah, and Timur, do you understand which infographic I'm talking about? And yes, he's not available. Yeah, he's here. Great. I would like to get this infographic that Mr. Kapolov is making. Let's kind of test it at the moment. So, and I can't understand your statistics of services, like how many services are provided from Federal Tax Service. So you have about 5 or 3,000, 3 or 5%. So yeah, your figures are not really understandable. You know, we're trying to figure it out with the colleagues because not everyone can. Like, not all statistics have been uploaded to Federal Tax Service. So we can't see that you provide any of your services in this FTS, Federal Tax Service. So what's the problem? I will explain that, that since August, there was a request that we've got to fill in the information of some OGRN, one of the aspects of our information, and I sent them a video training where they can see which fields can be filled in. Yes, so they're aware of that. Great. And one last question to clarify. Let's have a look here. So for each region, we have created a special sector, like base of knowledge for each region in their personal account. So yeah, this is in every base of knowledge, and everyone can see that. So yeah, can you turn off your camera? Yeah, I show it in with full screen. So this is kind of navigation. Can you click one of them, like leasing, for example? These are corporation products. Yeah, don't scroll it up and down, just click one. Yeah, leasing. So it's on one page, and we upload it every time, refresh it, so it's up. It was up to date. So can you zoom in, please? We can't see it. Right. So where's leasing here? So what was the idea? To provide you an opportunity, any consultant who comes here, no matter what business we're talking about. So if you didn't have leasing, you could click this particular icon, and you would be able to see all the information about leasing, what people should do. You have special glossary, what steps should be taken, everything. So a consultant can learn about that quite fast. All the employees of call center who are not in Moscow, but they are located everywhere, and they can understand that in no time. And we call our consultants and we check them whether they can use that and understand that, whether they can use that for their communication. So the main challenge is to upload everything and make it fresh and current. So yeah, we have QR code here. that can be used. So please pay attention to that. Yeah, and probably we can add our products here as well, create a special card for our regional leasing. Right. Yeah, it may tell all our story, all the information, so we can see how we can think how to make it more convenient. But yeah, it's really convenient and useful. It's like on hand all the time, and there was like a spider web for all sectors. Loans, products, any sales, financial measures, anything. This is a great navigation. Yes, have a look. Yeah, so well, I don't have any questions about that, dear colleagues. Maybe you have them, maybe any context that you would like to share for your interaction.
Good afternoon, distinguished participants. Not long ago, the SME Corporation had a joint project with one of the leasing companies, and in this direction, we want to have a strong union. For example, our company would provide the applications, and the second company would move them forward. So the Republic of Bashkortostan would provide the leasing system, so the leasing receiver would get it, and we direct our funds for other goals. According to statistics, SME leasing on the territory of Bashkortostan had provided only one leasing for more than 4 million under the conditions which are affordable for you. Mostly it's about the processing industries. It was micro-small leasing. Here, our company, in fact, also has quite close rates, similar rates, 228 million. So we can sum up our money, save some money, and direct them to other projects. As I mentioned before, so the gadgets, our installed equipment can be sent to you, and the rest can be sent to us, taking into consideration that after we have lost our union, so it happened, so 1.5 billion went away, and the same amount was here as the holders in the Republic. Here we would have work in a duo. For example, nowadays, what do we stumble to? For example, in the regional leasing company, there's something like 34, 35 applications for the sum of 35 million. And some of them are really aimed at getting equipment. And now we have another issue. First is decapitalization. We have already provided the example, Tatarstan. They did a great job in this year. After the same conditions that they had, they have popularized 370 million already. But we have our stand line. Maybe we need another mechanism which maybe is not that popular just because we're talking about regional subsidies. Or maybe you can even help us to get some discount lending. Now we're talking about 15% and key plus 3%, so we could have the 18% increase in the Republic of Bashkortostan. Right now, this application is under concern in the banks. So we have quite the same situation at our market. We're talking, for example, on this program, the lending stimulation program. It's not only about equipment. Of course, LSP is mostly about equipment, but if you want to get the preferential lending, so we could say that our bank provides the loan, not just ordinary market loan, but within the program. It would be cheaper to raise the funds for it, and we'll reach it for the equipment too. So where you have the cheaper variant, I will contact the bank by myself, and I contacted them before. We also conducted such a dialogue, and we're talking like, please give us. We were asking just because it was impossible to deal with it alone, and if it would be a joint product, of course, talking about applications, it is possible for some of the regions. For example, the deputy governor told that we have the same situation with China and to make a joint cooperation too. But it is shown like we have only half of the support gained from our side and the second from the side party. Maybe we have some similar mechanism. Of course, we have the experience of entrepreneurship industry development fund. Of course, it's all digitalized, so we can see the number of applications which were sent and which of them were under concern and which of them were profitable and were put into operation. It's the question of cooperation, I could say. It's not only the question of equipment. We need to discuss it further altogether. So think about the subsidies too. It's also a big trend. The subsidies, I could say, we cannot provide 6.8. Right now, we need 17% for leasing. What should we do? Of course, when you have the rate 6.8, people are coming here. And then when you have 17%, we need to make people come, to motivate them. It's a big difference within the market, 11, 12%. Could we truly name it like a stimulation lending when we have 17 at a discount? I don't think it seems like it's a support. That's an interesting fact that when we worked out the product line, one of the support, one of the variants how we get the support, it was the stake of the leasing what we got. There was such agreements which were under 17% earlier, and we did the refinancing. Even though it was not a quite big rate at a discount, I could also say that it should be a good application. It could be a good suggestion for the cooperations of SME within the region, and we need to provide such measures, support measures for provision of discount lending, preferential lending, just because we want to widen our assortment. As we see that it's very popular, it's in demand, especially the sphere of tourism. And tourism went to leasing too because they need a lot of equipment, even buses, for example, some vehicles. Also, tourist techniques, some different equipment, they are in a great demand. And that's why the business goes there for leasing as an alternative to loans. That's why we need to develop it. And the simplest way is if you know how to cover it up and work on it, so you can, for example, process several of applications a year. Of course, you'll get, for example, 200. Do you need to follow up the line? Not every entrepreneur would wait. Of course, they'll go and just take a loan. it would be easier for them. For example, for 100 they would take for buses and 100 per equipment. The easiest way is we are ready to help, but as for subsidies, not everything is clear still. So we are ready. Apply to us. Let's summon all together and discuss everything. As a moderator, I'd like to go back to the hall. Maybe we have some questions from the audience. Good afternoon, distinguished colleagues. I have several questions which I need the answers to. The first question is for you. Which support can you provide for foreign investors? For foreign investors, I think if we talk about the line of cooperations, there are several organizations and the support measures are at the level of the Russian Federation concerning foreign investors and corporations. We don't work with this segment right now. It's not our zone of responsibility. I think it's mostly about the region. I also have another question for you. We have quite complicated times, and a lot of foreign businessmen are afraid of investing here to this country. How do you plan to motivate the international investors to leave their money here? So, you see, we are the region which is transformed rapidly within the legislation system. And one of the products which appeared here is the investment hours under the head of the Republic of Bashkortostan. It's a supportive mechanism which helps in the direct dialogue implement their own projects. It's an essential part for regional investors, first of all, and of course, for those who are here on the territory of the country, even abroad. So it's possible to implement the project on the territory of the Republic of Bashkortostan. But first of all, you need to organize a legal entity here. And after that, you will see which preferences can be provided. Right now, if we talk about the preferences available, now within the privatization process, when the investment project is implemented on the territory of the Republic of Bashkortostan, they get the stimulations on the period of implementation of the project, and also it can be conducted on the special economic zones, which are provided here in the Republic too. But the main thing is that during these 4 years, we realized that the old format of investment hours is a bit old-fashioned, and we started a new project. It's the development of the honoring the investments on the territory. So we simplified the procedure of launching investment projects on the territory of Republic. It's also an interesting practice. It's also the simplification of documentation. So we'll have less documents. Also, we have chosen criteria on terms like 30 days before the implementation. That's the amount of days which are needed for consideration of the application you will receive. These are the conditions what we have provided here in the Republic. Maybe not full information is available everywhere, but if you'd like to get it, it's possible to provide everything for the foreign investors. We are ready for discussion and also providing you all the information for the implementation of investment projects. So the reason is that the legal entity still should be provided here on the territory of our republic. So you'll get the same measures, no difference if it's federal, regional, or even municipal, because we'll also have some support measures which are implemented within the municipality. So it's possible, and we are ready for consideration of such products. Not all of the regions can hold such programs. In the morning, I had a lot of meetings, and a lot of people were interested in the question that we haven't got enough workforce here. How would you solve this problem in the nearest future? Talking about the labor forces, what we have, concerning case that you have some worked out questions. The thing is that taking into consideration the industrial increase, we have such fields like tourism. Some years ago, we haven't got such active tourism industry as earlier. So right now, you see what we have, a lot of new tourist resorts. We also need to raise the quality of service and hospitality. There should be people who can provide you the information on the language which is known by the person who visits the territory. It's all about the service, education, its competences. That's the service. So, of course, here we need to promote this topic altogether, because we have already discussed it before, because in some places the hospitality is very nice, it's of a high quality, they have the labor forces which take part in it. Now we can, for example, attract people from India who can also provide us some of the service. So I think we need to have a thorough discussion of this topic, just because it is the problem of each regions. The reason is that the quota is quite low, so the amount which is available. In this case, we have the invoice from another region, because this quote system is working here for quite a long period of time. It's also about migration, isn't it? So here I'm ready to speak on behalf of them. So if it's the question or about quota, I think we need to have some changes in it. Another problem is payment system, and it's an essential question, burning question for us as investors. Which alternatives do we have? Just because right now each investor who is interested in investments here, it's the biggest problem to work with in payment systems on the territory of Russia now. I believe that it's just a temporary question, and it would disappear soon, because mostly it appeared because of the sanctions. And now we move forward on this question, and some of the systems which were developed throughout our interaction of SCO and BRICS countries, we have some banks, and I hope that some of the questions connected with it would be solved. Of course, we still have this problem, and even right now, if we go to another country, we cannot use our MIR cards, for example. We need to get other cards. Or even though you have another card, but it's Visa, oh no, it's all about the bank. But if the bank is under sanctions, I also cannot pay. Yes, I also have the same problem. I haven't got Visa right now, Visa card, even though that we had some other Visa cards several years ago, but they were connected to Sberbank, which is under sanctions, and it also doesn't work. But MIR, of course, is not available too. In Turkey, it's quite another story. For example, MIR card is working, is operating there. When I was in airport, I couldn't pay, and I cannot even buy water for 8 hours. It was very complicated for me.
Yeah, and here's the last question. Why foreign investors should invest in your republic? Well, I believe, first of all, we should see the potential of our republic, really industrial and energy potential, and it has a lot of competencies. So, and there are some areas, regions for development. For example, if we take Moscow and Moscow regions, there is a really great consolidation of some companies, and everything is already planned there. So that's why some people go to regions, because workforce there is more expensive. So here in our republic, we have everything for that, and we support everyone who comes to us. So it's quite great to invest in our republic. So, and everyone says that we are the state of development. And we are moving to creating the climate, the right climate for small and medium entrepreneurship. And they are main milestones for us to join us and move on. So here during the forum, for example, you've already heard that there are some huge entrepreneur companies and foreign as well that manufacture some different equipment for roads and domestic purposes. So they came to us and believed in us. So why? Because when we agreed on something and understood that that factory would be built within only 9 months, not 3 years, and we shook our hands, yes, and that factory really appeared only 9 months later. So all such questions should be discussed, and our republic has a great experience that we do not boast or say something just for saying, but we do what we promise, so we keep our promises. So, dear colleagues, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them about any support measures to Andrei Evgenievich or about anything. Well, if there are no questions, we are ready to wrap it up. So I would like to express that I'm so grateful for this event, and we've participated in many different activities nowadays, and the support of small and medium entrepreneurship is developing. Of course, in some spheres that's not enough, but we are working on that, and I would like to thank you and your team of your cooperation for such a collaboration and interaction. We don't have any other option but to work together to create this new historical development for business. So, and you remember our motto of that, and that's the name of our forum as well, the day after tomorrow. So we should think which steps we should take quite soon to create a great future for the business. So is anyone getting ready to do something connected with engineering and some cooperation problems? The interpreter couldn't heard the last phrase, but